Welcome back to the Citizen Channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. And today we've got a History Voice feature. I'm going to take you back in time. I was around, probably lots of you watching this weren't, but shows how old I am, doesn't it? We're going to go back to the 67-68 season, of course, an iconic season. We're going to go back to the 16th of March. So 2/3 of the way through, getting towards the interesting part of the season, of course, and I'm going to talk about a City versus Fulham game in Division 1 on the 16th of March 68. Please, if you are new to the channel, obviously this channel's now monetized. If you are old to the channel, you may notice it's monetized. So if you can watch any of the ads or follow the links, that'll be great. It does help the channel going forward, and obviously helps my other channel as well, which I do film and TV stuff as well. So if you can watch anything that interests you, that'd be great. Otherwise, just press that skip button. Don't worry about it. And if you enjoy what I do, please pass the word around to your fellow City fans. Give us a thumbs up on this vlog. Press that notification button so you know these vlogs are coming out past and present, of course. Right, so let's see. City versus Fulham, the 16th of March, 1968. Our second title winning season. So no spoilers here, guys. Obviously, it was our second tilt at winning the title and winning the title itself. And Bobby Robson, legend, of course, brought his Fulham team. He was the manager of Fulham at the time to Main Road, and they needed a desperate change in fortune. They weren't doing very, very well. I mean, we were doing okay, of course, as you probably gathered. We sat on the shoulder of the league leaders at the time, United, just 2 points behind, with 12 games of the season remaining. It was interesting. Bottom against almost top, obviously, in this fixture. I mean, in the UK in 1968, have a quick run through what's going on. I mean, there was mass demonstrations in London against the US involvement, of course, in Vietnam, which led to 100 police being injured and over 200 arrests on the day. Shocking scenes. Pound sterling was struggling, taking hit after hit on the world markets. The pound in your pocket wasn't worth much those days, that's for sure. And there were ongoing talks to sell London Bridge to an American entrepreneur as well, who would rebuild it brick by brick over in Arizona. So there you go. There was a lot said about he'd thought he'd bought the Tower Bridge at one stage, but I don't think so. I think it was far cleverer than that. I think that was just an old wives' tale. A new stop-motion animation series called The Herbs. Yeah, remember The Herbs? One of my favourite programmes. Was entertaining both adults and children on BBC One. And The Everly Brothers, there you go, was UK's number one in the single charts. A double A side, Walk Right Back to Me, and Ebony Eyes as well. That was a joint double-sided, two cracking songs. So the Everly Brothers were number one. At the pictures, Space Odyssey was packing them in. I can't remember when I did watch that. I was probably a bit young to watch it in 68. I probably watched it in the 70s because they used to come around years later, these films. Not like now, where they're on for a couple of months, you never see them again. They used to keep reappearing in those days at the cinema. And Funny Girl, Funny Girl. I did certainly watch that. I remember watching Funny Girl. That was at the pictures as well. Doing very well. And if you stuck an old one of these rapidly declining pounds under your mattress in March 1968, it would actually be worth £18.48 today. So that's quite a hefty rise, isn't it? So perhaps not. Perhaps you probably spent your pound. You probably needed to. Right, back to football. And yes, Fulham sat bottom, 20 points from 29 games. City sat 41 points, 21 points. Don't seem that much now, but these days, does it? But it's only 2 for a win those days, don't forget. And United were 43 points. They're a couple ahead of us from the same number of games. And of course, we were looking forward. Perhaps I was 9. I was probably looking forward to the running with the little, perhaps not all. I was going to the games then, but perhaps not as excited as our manager, Joe Mercer, at the time. He said that we are all excited by the prospects of the next few matches. They'll be some of the toughest in the club's history. A lot of matches away from home, and it would be great to have the support of as many City fans as possible. It means a lot to us. I think we took heed of that. I was a bit too young to go to away games, but there's certainly plenty in the away games up towards the end of that season. And if you think of how many thousands are at Newcastle, the last game. Our next two league games after this Fulham game, yeah, I mean, hey, how exciting were these? Away at Leeds, who were obviously one of the big names at that time, and away at United as well. So yeah, I mean, Leeds were third. Yeah, Leeds still had a chance of the title as well. So we're away at Leeds and then away at United. So a victory against Fulham on this date was probably vital. The crowd that day, yeah, not a bad crowd, not massive, 30,773. You did tend to get that for the lesser games. You got much bigger crowds, of course, for the bigger teams, but no one really got overly excited at the prospects of Fulham coming to town. Perhaps things don't change. No offence, Fulham, but that's how it is, unfortunately. So yeah, 30,773 were in attendance. I'll give you Fulham's team first, then I'll give you City's. Yeah, a couple of names I know, but not overly familiar. Seymour was in goal. Brown, Dempsey, Matthewson, Nichols, Conway. Yep, Haynes. Yep. Callaghan, Earl, Clark, and Barrett, and their sub was a guy called Kerrigan. Of course, City, these names roll off the tongue, very, very famous names. Mulhern, Buck, Pardo, Doyle, Heslop, Kennedy, Lee, Bell, Summerby, Young, and Coleman. And Dave Connor was the sub as well. He didn't get on in this game. Yeah, I mean, on what was normal for then, a pitch that was basically just mud with a bit of grass on it, to be honest with you, in those days. And I'm going to go over to the Times. Yes, we'll have a look at the Times. A very flowery match report from a gentleman called Tom German. So I'll just read you his little match report on the game itself. He goes on to say, one expects deeper veins of flint in Championship aspirants and relegation stragglers than were detectable for much of the match at Main Road on Saturday. The apportionment of talent was amply demonstrated in the end, but Manchester was sedately orthodox and unenterprising for so long. It seemed they knew their place and doubted their right to disturb the supremacy of their neighbours from across the city. So, you see what's said about being a bit flowery. Writes for the Times, Indeed, it required a scoreboard announcement that United were toiling at Coventry to convince them that they might, and to inject the verve which took them to the head of the Championship on goal average. Yeah, we end up being top of the league after this game. Perhaps Fulham are tired of the monotony of annual feats for escapology and are at last resigned to joining lower company. They had an attractive, orderly rhythm which might have extended an uncertain Manchester defence had it been allied to zeal and spirit, but both were noticeably absent. Even an opening goal by Clark, yes, oh yeah, Alan Clark, very, very early days for Sniffer. Clark became very famous at Leeds, of course. Even an opening goal by Clark after 13 minutes was insufficient to kindle them. Yet Fulham, now deeply rooted in the trough of the Championship, were in a match so long as Haynes could harness their effort and Dempsey could effectively hinder Summerby. Both were accomplished splendidly at the outset. A stream of passes from Haynes, all bearing his old impeccable hallmark, threatened to pierce City's guard. Apart from the one which brought Clark's goal, the rest were unproductive because there was no one of his stature to make better use of them. Fulham had little opportunity to draw encouragement from their opening blow, though, for Bell equalised immediately. In another 10 minutes, Summerby had shown he could elude the attentive Dempsey to provide Young with a second. Lee scored a third after Seymour had splendidly parried his shot from the penalty spot. It took a rebound for Lee to score that one. And Young and Summerby completed Fulham's dejection, but only an infusion of greater defensive resilience would prolong City's stay at the top. For next on their fixture list are Leeds and Manchester United, whose qualities certainly do not embrace charity gently. There you go. Well, thanks to Mr. Tom German. Very, very well put. But sort of not the thing you read in your Manchester Evening News or the Daily Mirror or the Sun these days, is it? Yeah, so there you go. We actually sat top on goal difference. Or goal average, shall we say? Yeah, goal average. It wasn't goal difference like it is now, but we did get beat. Yeah, we got beat by Leeds the following week. That was a bit disappointing. So again, we went into the United game at Old Trafford, a bit of a must-win then, wasn't it? And we actually went an early goal behind within a minute. Mr. Best had scored for United and put us one goal down. But what followed was a fantastic display by City, and we actually won that Old Trafford dive. One of the greatest results and probably the best team performances at Old Trafford, certainly till that time in history. A 3-1 win in the end. It wasn't all plain sailing, of course. After that, it wasn't as though we trotted away to win the league title, but of course a run of 4 wins in our last 4 matches guaranteed us winning the title by 2 points from our rivals across the road. Fulham, well, Fulham never really recovered, to be honest with you. They collected only a further 7 points from their final 12 games and were relegated bottom of the league, so that wasn't great. And it will be another 33 years before Fulham will be back in the top division of English football. And for some of that period, they were featured, of course, in the third tier of English football as well. So there we have it, guys. Thanks for joining me as we look back at this History Boys feature. We went back to the 16th of March 1968, a League Division 1 fixture. Manchester City 5, Fulham 1. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest day. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. To be here again on the Citizen channel. I only ask one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.